Hi there, welcome to episode 4 of All Japan Pro Wrestling Beyond the Best, and we are here for night 7 and 8 of the Champion Carnival, and we are just about to get rocking and rolling with night 7. So this one is being headlined by a really intriguing bout in the A block, and we are coming to the closing stages of the carnival now, so everything is really to play for. And our main event tonight is Rei Saito taking on Kento Miyahara, and as you can see, Rei Saito leads the block with 10 points, Kento Miyahara just below that with 8, so that's a high stakes main event there. We also have Talos looking to get on the scoreboard tonight. He is one of only 2 people in the A block who has got no points. Talos will have tough opposition with Yuma Anzai, who is standing at 6 points, and of course earlier in the tournament he got that big win over Kento Miyahara, so he has got himself a guaranteed Triple Crown shot regardless of the outcome of the carnival. Over on the B block side of the fence, and they've got some great bouts of their own to offer up for us on night 7. We've got Rene Abe taking on Daisuke Sekimoto. Sekimoto is doing really well for himself with 6 points, and Rene Abe just below that with 4. We also have Jun Saito taking on Ryuki Honda. Ryuki Honda only got 2, and he would like to improve upon that, but Jun Saito is going to be no easy opposition to overcome. Saito currently sits at 4, and he would like to build upon that, gaining 2 more points here tonight. And then, perhaps in my eyes at least, the most intriguing bout on the B block side of the fence on night 7 is Madoka Kikuta, the Dragongate representative, the current Open the Dreamgate champion. He is currently leading block B with 8 points, and he will be taking on Yuma Ayagi tonight, who sits at 4. So we are coming to the closing shows of the Champion Carnival. Everything is to play for now, and it really is the time for talent to put their best foot forward. It's make or break. So let's get rolling with night 7. Live from the Shitetsu Hall in front of 267 people, it is night 7 of the Champion Carnival, and we get things off to a decent start with Rene Abe defeating Daisuke Sekimoto in 16 minutes 43 seconds via way of submission. And Rene Abe had an in-ring performance of 41. Sekimoto was a bit higher than that with a 47. These two, Abe and Sekimoto, they had a great chemistry, and it showed in their performances. The match succeeded in getting the show off to a strong start. It got the crowd buzzing, and the crowd was hot and rising at the end of this one, which is lovely to see. 49 segment rating overall, and we carry on with more B block action. Higher rated match here at 53. It's about that had good heat and decent wrestling. Yuma Ayagi with a pretty big win here, defeating Dragongate's Open the Dreamgate champion Madoka Kikuta in 16 minutes 35 seconds via pinfall with a roll-up. And the match was designed so that the wrestlers could go out and try and steal the show. Kikuta had an in-ring performance of 47. Ayagi was higher than that with a 41 performance. Even though he was off his game a bit tonight, the match succeeded in getting the crowd buzzing. Hot crowd, and a 53 rated match overall. Then we move on to action, B block action once more, and it's Jun Saito and Ryuki Honda, and this is a pretty significant win too. Ryuki Honda, he's been struggling to build up points on the scoreboard. He beats a big opposition here, figuratively and literally, in Jun Saito. He defeats him in a bout that had decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. Honda puts Saito away in 16 minutes 46 seconds via way of pinfall. Jun Saito had an in-ring performance of 46, whereas Ryuki Honda had a pretty weak 33 performance, unfortunately. Both men were visibly tiring towards the end of this one. Jun Saito benefited from having a groundswell of public support, and the match, it succeeded in getting the crowd buzzing. And in a break from tournament action, we have a 6-man tag, and it's a decent tag at that, with Dan Tamura, Ryo Inoue and Hakoto Omori. They defeat Atsuki Ayagi, Rising Hayata and Seigo Tachibana in 9 minutes 57 seconds when Dan Tamura pins Atsuki Ayagi. The match was designed to tell a specific story, and of course that story is the continued build of momentum with Dan Tamura and the hostilities that are coming into play between him and our junior champion Seigo Tachibana, because Dan Tamura is building up a credible claim to challenge Tachibana for that junior championship, and of course he actually pinned Tachibana on the first night of the Champion Carnival tour. Tachibana was off his game in this one, but the match succeeded in getting the crowd hotter. All these performers were pretty much even Stevens as far as performance goes. The only weaker link was Ryo Inoue there, and even though Tachibana was off his game, he was still in the 40 club as far as in-ring performances go. The two best in-ring performances were both tied 46. It was Atsuki Aogi and Dan Tamura, both with a 46 performance rating. Back to Champion Carnival action, and it's action from the A block, and our Gora TV champion Kuma Arashi gets what I believe is his first 2 points on the board by beating Kengo Mashimo. The match had decent wrestling but didn't have much in the way of heat. Arashi had an in-ring performance of 38, whereas Kengo Mashimo was a better in-ring performer with an in-ring performance of 45. 46 segment rating overall. Then we move on to more action from A block, and it's a decent match. Yuma Anzai continues his winning ways, and unfortunately Talus, one half of our tag team champions, he continues his losing ways, staying at 0 points, which probably isn't what people expected from Talus. So yeah, Yuma Anzai picks up the win in 15 minutes 28 seconds via way of pinfall. Yuma is having a really good showing for himself in this Champion Carnival. An in-ring performance of 60 from Anzai, whereas Talos only had an in-ring performance of 27, and indeed Talos was off his game tonight, really off his game in fact. And Yuma Anzai, he benefited from having a groundswell of public support. The crowd end this one very hot, 53 segment rating overall. And then we move on to our main event, and it is action from the A block, and it is a good match, a great match in fact, great wrestling with good heat. Kento Miyahara defeats Rei Saito in 22 minutes 56 seconds via pinfall following a shutdown German suplex hold, which would have been a great sight to see on a big man like Rei Saito. Everything about the match was specifically designed to give it an epic feel in the eyes of the fans. Rei Saito had an in-ring performance of 38, whereas Kento Miyahara had what I think is his strongest showing in the whole tournament so far, an 80 in-ring performance. Whoa. Rei Saito seemed off his game, but he benefited from having good public support and being in amazing form. So two contradictory statements there, but oh well. The match got the crowd buzzing, very hot crowd at the end of this one, 64 rating, good stuff. And we close the show with some comments from our Triple Crown champion, the best of the best, Kento Miyahara. Following the bout, Kento Miyahara takes his time playing up to the fans. Before taking the microphone, he gives some comments. Miyahara says that Rei Saito was very close to defeating him tonight, but for Rei Saito, close isn't enough. Miyahara says that he's been hearing and reading the discussions concerning who is the next man to reach his heights, who could it be, and who could win this year's Champion Carnival, and who could go on to defeat him for the Triple Crown. Many are too busy fixated on a future that may never come as they see it, when the reality of the here and now has the best you could ever hope for leading the charge, shouts out Miyahara, who takes a serious tone at this point. He's not playing around. He then goes on to say, I'm the present, I'm the grand conductor. All Japan Pro Wrestling and all within it, they move to the tempo that the grand conductor sets. This comment, it draws cheers from the fans, but there are some jeers detected amongst those cheers also. This is going to be my Champion Carnival, continues Kento Miyahara. And as well as being the present, I'm very much the future, because the Triple Crown will be staying right where it currently resides. So Kento Miyahara, he worked the crowd well, using the freedom to improvise to his advantage, and that gave us a 67 segment rating and a very hot crowd after he was done. And overall we have a 61 show, so decent stuff there from night 7, and interesting comments at the end from Kento Miyahara especially. So after show 7 of the Champion Carnival, we've got a tie at the top of A block with Rei Saito and Kento Miyahara both sitting atop with 10 points, and below them is Yuma Anzai with 8 points. Go Shiozaki has 6 points, and then in the B block we have got Madoka Kikuta still leading the pack with 8 points, and in the 6-point club we've got Daisuke Sekimoto and Ren Ayabe, and also Yuma Ayagi. So interesting stuff as we go into show 8 of the Champion Carnival. We have now reached the beginning of May, and let's have a look how we did in our regional battles across Japan in April. So in Chubu we finished first out of 5 in the regional battle, which will boost our shows by 5%, so that's brilliant. So we'll get a boost in attendance there. Hokkaido we finished first out of 3. Kansai we finished second out of 9. Kanto we finished 4 out of 18. So we're going to get some reductions there, unfortunately. Kyushu we finished first out of 3, and Tohoku we finished first out of 3. So way more good than bad to take away from those reports. It is show number 8 of the All Japan Pro Wrestling Champion Carnival 2026, and we are in front of 690 people in the Okayama Marai Hall, and we start off with a decent match in A block with Yuma Anzai defeating the Gora TV champion Kuma Arashi in 13 minutes 15 seconds via pinfall. Yuma Anzai had an in-ring performance of 53, which was leagues above Arashi's performance. They didn't click here, and it made for an awkward bout. Yuma Anzai benefited from the groundswell of public support. The match succeeded in getting the crowd hotter. The show is off to a strong start. Hot and rising crowd, 51 segment rating overall. And we move on to B block action, and it's Jun Saito taking on Zion. Decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. Jun Saito gets the win over Zion in 14 minutes 8 seconds. The match succeeded in getting the crowd hotter. Jun Saito benefited from the groundswell of public support. Colour commentary gave the match a boost as well. One thing I've done is I've added Masanobu Fuchi to the colour commentary team, and that's been helping out recently. I've been using him on the last couple of shows. So we move on there from that with a 43 rating. The crowd was white hot. And then we have more A block action, and it is Talos finally getting on the scoreboard by defeating Odyssey. Poor match, 11 minutes 34 seconds of action. Odyssey was the worst in-ring performer here, 30, whereas Talos was a bit above that with a 34, but nothing great from either man. The crowd's still very hot regardless though, 36 rating overall. And then we have a break from tournament action with a 6-man tag, and it is Kento Miyahara, Atsuki Ayagi, and Rising Hayato, and they defeat the Hakuta Gun trio of Hakuta Amore, Azawa No1, and Jack Kennedy in 9 minutes 47, when Kento Miyahara gets the pin over Azawa No1 with the blackout. Kento Miyahara was head and shoulders above everybody else, and his in-ring performance was a 17 in this one, and Azawa No1 was really off his game, and Kento Miyahara shone. So after that 57 rated match, we get back to Champion Carnival action, and it's action from the B block with Ren Ayabe taking on Ryuki Honda, and it was a decent contest with Ayabe getting the win over Honda in 15 minutes 3 seconds via way of pinfall, and Ayabe's in-ring performance was a 47 there. Crowd very hot at the end of this one, and after that 48 rated segment overall, we go to action from the A block, and it's a decent match again with Go Shiozaki defeating Kengo Mishimo following a strong arm lariat to put the match away in 13 minutes and 2 seconds. 45 segment rating there, and the crowd is still very hot. Then we move on to our main event, and it's a decent match with Hideki Suzuki, the last pupil of Billy Robinson, the catch wrestler, and he gets a big win here over the Open the Dreamgate champion Madoka Kikuta in 18 minutes and 7 seconds following a double arm suplex. The match was designed so the wrestlers could go out and steal the show, and Kikuta was off his game in this one, and Suzuki was also really timing towards the end. But the match was getting the crowd buzzing regardless, a very hot crowd at the end of this one. So a big win there for Hideki Suzuki, and a 54 segment rating overall, and that closes our show, and a 54 rated show with this one. So following that show, we get the not unexpected but still sad news that our long-time referee, he goes back decades in All Japan, Kyohei Wada, he has decided to say farewell to the wrestling industry. The 71-year-old officially announced last night that he plans to retire from the industry in 30 days. The news was broken in a short press release. It's the end of an era for All Japan Pro Wrestling. Not seeing this guy in the ring calling matches. One of the absolute best referees ever, in my opinion. I love his cadence when he's counting. He just adds so much drama to the big matches. A massive part of what made the Kings Road style so brilliant. So a well-deserved retirement for KO Iwata, and we will definitely arrange a farewell show for him at some point this month. We'll put that on our schedule. Sad to lose him from the roster. It is the end of an era, but enjoy your well-deserved retirement. And with just one night of block action remaining in our Champion Carnival now, we have got a three-way tie in A block. We've got Rei Saito, Kento Miyahara, and Yuma Anzai all standing at 10 points. Go Shiozaki is just below them with 8. So A block is very interesting and a lot still to play for in A block. And then over in B block, we have got 2 at the top of the pack with 8 points, and that is Madoka Kikuta and Ren Ayabe. And just below them in the 6-point club, we've got Hideki Suzuki, we've got Jun Saito, we've got Daisuke Sekimoto, and we've also got Yuma Ayagi. So really interesting as we go into our final night of block action. It's going to be a show at Korakuen Hall. And it's been an intriguing Champion Carnival for sure. So let's just see how it all plays out in the final stages, and we'll be back with that video next. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch. Hope you're enjoying the action, and look forward to seeing you again. All the best.